Hello my friends, welcome to another episode of Game Testing Unlimited. My name is Wilfred. So this weekend I've got the opportunity to try out a game called Riftstorm, and it is a pre-alpha playtest. So what you see here is just a preview of what is to come, and it doesn't represent the entire content at launch, so I must say that. And also, if this is the first time you hear about this game and you're kind of interested, sign up for the playtest and maybe in the future play this game as well, do punch in my referral code at the setting menu, and if enough of you put in my code, perhaps I may get some cosmetic reward. I don't know what it will be, but anyway, now what is Riftstorm? Riftstorm is a multiplayer or co-op roguelike shooter. So what other games are like this that I play as well? Risk of Rain 2 came to my mind when I played this game, and also Tesla Force. I'm not sure how many of you have played that one. It's a little bit like bullet hell, but it's kind of like a similar concept. So what concept it is? You move around using WASD or controller. And very simple, just shoot. You have two weapons to choose from. You can do a main and sub. You can swap anytime you like. And you reload the weapon when they run out of ammo, just like any other games of this genre. It's auto reload, by the way. So if you stop shooting for a while, it will auto reload for you. Kind of neat. And if you want to shoot, then you'll interrupt the reload and continue shooting from the remaining magazine. So I quite like this concept there. And also there are some abilities as well. I think it's up to 3 abilities that you can press a button there or the controller to execute some of this ability. The one that I've got so far with this playtest is one is to stagger and stun a large group of enemy. Very useful when they come near me. And also there's another one that has a rapid shot to it, so you can augment ability. Abilities require mana to execute, and mana come from various sources. They can come from the basic shooting itself. It can come from the mana orbs on the ground, as well as there are some kind of upgrade that will grant mana. Like for example, when you're hit, you grant X amount of mana. So you can have that too. It's pretty interesting. I use the ability. You have to use it quite wisely. It helps when you see a group of enemy become a threat when it come too near, stun them, and it helps when you're facing boss that you want to just burn it down, and you can use a rapid fire as well. I'm sure there are more for different characters in the future. Now, I also kind of like the fact that, okay, so what it is, right? So far, what I've seen is that it kind of relate back to the world map kind of thing, like the whole world that we have, and you got to go to different part of the world to take on some mission. I don't really get a story at all. I think there's some story behind it. There's some really cool animate story before the game, but beyond which is I felt that it just shoot them all, there's no not really a story component to it, but you got to go to a different part of the world, like Korea or Turkey or Paris in France, in Europe, to take on the mission. And each mission has multiple stages to it, and some stages different stages have different objectives. It could be it's always clear the area, but sometimes they spawn some more difficult kind of enemies, and sometimes you have challenge as well. You can skip them, or you can try out and get more artifacts. In the end, you can convert into I believe it's XP and so on. So it's pretty cool. It's roguelike, so you have to look after your health. You've got a shield. The shield will regenerate as time goes by when you're not taking damage, and also when you take on some shield, kind of like a globe as well, to replenish your shield. I found that the health globe is a lot harder to find in this game. Just like many roguelike game, it make you have this constant intensity that, oh no, your life is dwindling and you got less and lesser health. I think it gives you pressure and give you the kind of stress, and that is, I believe, how this kind of roguelike game is designed anyway. Health globe is very, very difficult to find, or you can use the essence to purchase health globe through the vending machine in some areas, so you can't really do that all the time. And I found that you can also collect a lot of essence while you take down enemy, or open up some chests, and the essence could be used to purchase further upgrade as well. So every stage that you clear, you have 3 upgrade choices. Sometimes you don't have to take any of them. Sometimes I don't. But some of these trade-off are very much towards the how you want to build the weapons around you, because you got to read a little bit more on the weapon as well. But some would say, increase your crit rate, decrease your damage rate. A lot of them are trade-off. So for example, enemy further from you will take more hit, but enemy near you is not, and vice versa. There are stuff like, if you dodge it, perfectly dodge an attack, then you gain something. Or when you use an ability, you buff your damage. If you stand still, you buff your damage, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of pretty cool things around it. Some will pierce the enemy if increase the pierce damage, and some will bounce the bullet around the walls. There's some homing as well. So there are tons of things you can customize along the mission. But what I observe is, I think it's a good design that all these upgrades only last until the end of mission, and after that, from my experience, I have to recollect those upgrades. I'm not sure whether it is the case or not. Games like Risk of Rain, you actually carry your upgrade all the way, so the upgrade have different level as well, right? But this game, I don't see that there is a level to it. So if you take a duplicated one, not sure what it means. But games like Risk of Rain, you take duplicated one, you actually upgrade the ability, so that has a certain depth to it. So far, not really what I've seen, but I have fun. You require a little bit of skill to dodge as well. The environment does play a part as well. It's not just a flat piece of land. Sometimes there are obstacles left, right, and center. There are some dangerous kind of explosive barrel left, right, and center as well. It works both ways. Sometimes it's good to use that to take down a group of enemy, but not so good if you accidentally shoot it right in front of you, and you end up have to run away from it. So I mean, they're pretty fun. There are environment hazard around that. If you step on it too long, they would kind of like attack you. There's something on the ground. Something on the ground that will slow you down as well. So if you go through that and you get slowed down, but it works both ways as well. So if the enemy kind of like go through the same environmental hazard, they also get it as well. So I thought it's pretty fair. Now I play solo, haven't really tried the co-op, but I could imagine this game would be a lot probably easier or more fun when you play with others, because I found that it's very hard to kind of maintain the kind of like how to survive when you have enemies from different fronts. And I can imagine if you have friends playing with you, you could split up and take up different part of the map rather than getting kind of like overwhelmed by all these enemies and so on. So so that is how I feel so far. I like the boss fight. Some of the boss fight are quite interesting. And the telegraph is quite nice as well, so you know what's hitting you, and just ignore the tutorial. I think the tutorial just want to make it so difficult that you can't experience defeat at least once. So when I first played this game, I went through a tutorial teaching me what WSAD is, teaching me how to shoot, switch weapon, do abilities. So I thought, all is good. And then suddenly the boss spawned, and the boss, I was quite serious wanting to take down the boss. But then I got so super overwhelmed. I was about to rage quit and say, well, you know what, this is not worth my time. But fortunately, I pressed on and just ignored the tutorial. And then the mission comes, and it was a lot better with all this upgrade. You can get further. So it is one of those games I kind of remind me of some of these games that right at the beginning they throw you an impossible situation, and after that you kind of learn from that, pick up from there again. So cool. I think this game will change a lot as times go by. I'm very keen to see what it will look like. I don't even know whether it is free to play or pay to play. I don't know, but I can only kind of say that comparing, because it's the same genre, right? Similar genre. I can compare this with, say, Risk of Rain 2 as well as Tesla Force. Tesla Force is a lot cheaper, of course, and it's not a popular game. I play it, it's on my channel as well. I kind of like Tesla Force a lot because the weapons are more kind of impactful. There's a lot of variation to weapons and so on, and it's kind of fun to build your kind of upgrade through many missions up the final boss. And the final boss are pretty good as well for Tesla Force. A lot of kind of like assets around, and the enemy is just so overwhelming. It's not just a field but the whole screen for enemy, so I like it. Risk of Rain 2, I think is the king of all this roguelike shooter genre multiplayer as well. I think it's very hard to beat the game, but however, it's always good to play other variation as well. I think this could be one option. Riftstorm. And last but not the least, just to point out that how does a weapon or loot play like? You can have two weapons in your loadout, so you go to a loadout at the base and you can change the weapon. You have to read the weapon, the weapon damage, the firing rate, the magazine, the loading cooldown, whether it can crit or not. Not all weapons can crit, interestingly. So you have to read up all these things, and some weapons will have additional attribute to it, just like any loot in ARPG that will say, okay, so you have extra crit or extra damage or extra, like when you dodge, when you dodge, you can gain certain damage. So all this thing is part of the weapon as well. Or some weapon will say that you begin the mission with 1,000 essence. So it make it more interesting to decide on what weapon you like to bring it to the mission, I would say. But what I can say is at present it's very hard for me to even decide whether a weapon is better or not, because you have to really compare one by one and look at the DPS or damage per second. It's not at all easy, but all in all, I have fun. Nothing against Riftstorm, so I'm very keen and eager to see how this game is going to be evolved into a full-fledged game, and how would it be a phenomenal success like some of the games we've seen in this year so far, 2024. So we'll see. And just remember, I do have a referral code, so if you feel that it's the first time you hear this game and kind of like, okay, it is my cup of tea, you go in, install a game, just punch in my referral code in the window there. So thank you. And any question, any thoughts, do share with me at the comment box below. I'm more than happy to answer you. All right, see you next time. Goodbye.